It's a quiet and sneaky pattern that happens to many people. Just when life starts going well, something inside them messes it up. They make a wrong choice, start a fight, or make a mistake that didn't have to happen. It's like the mind secretly finds a way to ruin everything. And the scariest part? It usually happens right when they're closest to reaching a big dream. Gay Hendricks, author of The Big Leap, says this isn't random. It's not weakness or bad luck either. It's a mental habit he calls the upper limit problem. It's like we all have an invisible thermostat inside that controls how much success, love, and happiness we think we can have. When life gets too good, this thermostat kicks in and pulls us back to what feels normal, even if that normal is pain, struggle, or just okay. Hendricks says this mental limit was formed when we were kids. We picked up beliefs from parents, teachers, and society. Messages like, don't want too much, don't show off, or don't be greedy. Those messages stuck in our minds and became hidden rules. Later in life, when reality gives us more than what those rules allow, we feel confused, scared, or guilty, so we mess things up without realizing it. This can show up in many ways: failing after a big win, ending a good relationship, getting sick suddenly, or making poor choices that don't make sense. But these actions have something in common. They are our mind's way of keeping us inside our safe zone of happiness. Hendricks warns that even successful people have this issue. In fact, the more you grow, the more important it is to recognize and break past this limit. If not, you'll keep going through a loop. A bit of success, followed by setbacks. Success is allowed only up to the level that feels safe. This video explores this powerful idea from Gay Hendricks. Why do we stop ourselves just when we're about to win? And how can we break the pattern? Hendricks says, each of us has an inner thermostat setting that determines how much love, success, and creativity we allow ourselves to enjoy. It sounds simple, but it hides a deep truth. This inner thermostat is not something we choose consciously. It's built from emotional experiences and beliefs we picked up while growing up. This thermostat is always working in the background. It controls how much good we let ourselves have. That's what Hendricks calls the upper limit problem. Every person has a secret line in their mind, a max amount of joy or success they feel is okay. If life goes beyond that point, like a great job, deep love, or big happiness, our mind sees it as a threat, and it reacts to pull us back to normal. But this normal isn't healthy, it's just familiar. Hendricks writes, when we hit our upper limit, we do something that stops our positive forward movement. It's not the world holding us back, it's us. Deep down, we create problems from nowhere. We start arguments, delay tasks, get distracted, feel unmotivated, or even get sick just when life is going well. This limit came from childhood. If we were scolded for standing out, praised only when we stayed small, or ignored when we showed ambition, we learned not to shine too much. If our joy made others uncomfortable, we learned that being happy could lead to being rejected. Hendricks says, our upper limit thermostat setting holds us back from enjoying all the love, financial abundance, and creativity that's rightfully ours. You might achieve things, but you can't enjoy them. You might fall in love, but feel guilty for being too happy. You might have money, but always fear losing it. The real issue isn't outside, it's inside. And the reason it's hard to notice is because it hides behind things that seem normal. Failure looks like bad luck. A breakup seems like the relationship just didn't work. Procrastination feels like laziness. But under all of that may be the same force, the upper limit problem, trying to keep things safe. And here's what's most important. This limit is not real. It was learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. At first, you have to learn to spot the ways you self-sabotage. Because if you can't see the problem, it will keep running. Your life. In the next chapter, we'll talk about exactly that, how self-sabotage shows up in your daily life. How it hides in your habits, your relationships, even your wins, and what you can do to start noticing it. Self-sabotage is sneaky. It doesn't feel like a block. It feels logical. Most people don't even realize they're doing it until it's too late. But Hendricks says self-sabotage is the main sign of the upper limit problem. He says, we do something to mess it up. We create thoughts and actions that pull us back. This shows up in many forms, like worrying too much. When life starts going well, your brain starts to invent problems. You replay old conversations, imagine bad things happening, and stress over small stuff. Hendricks shares a story. After having a calm lunch with a friend and feeling totally happy, his brain suddenly imagined his daughter struggling. That joy quickly turned into worry. He realized he had passed his limit for feeling good. His brain created stress to return him to what felt normal. Another example is relationship conflict. Things are going well, then suddenly there's a fight, a rude comment, or weird irritation. You don't even know why, but the connection breaks, and you're back in emotional chaos. Hendricks says, we enjoy harmony, then stop it by criticizing or starting an argument. Procrastination is another form. You know what to do. You have time and tools, but you delay. Why? Because finishing the task could lead to big success, and you might not feel ready for that success. You fear the good just as much as the bad. Even your health isn't safe. You start improving and suddenly stop caring. You ruin your good habits after a few wins. You walk away from a dream chance, saying, it's not the right time. All of this is your brain's way of keeping you inside your comfort zone. What Hendricks calls the upper limit switch turns on when you're about to experience more than you think you deserve. Each time you let yourself enjoy your money, love, or creativity, your capacity grows. But when you self-sabotage, you tell your mind, I can't, I shouldn't, I don't deserve it. Now that you're starting to see the different faces of self-sabotage, the next step is to ask, where did this limit come from? Because if you understand where it started, you can finally shut it off. In the next part, we'll explore the emotional roots of this problem, the beliefs from childhood, the silent rules and hidden promises that still control your adult life. The human mind isn't born with limits. It learns them. Hendricks says the upper limit problem comes from how we were emotionally programmed. As kids, the messages weren't always said with words. They were shown in faces, silences, punishments, or only being praised when we stayed small. If, as a child, you felt guilty for being praised because it made your siblings jealous, or if your parents became cold when you shined, you learned that being too much was unsafe. So you made a silent promise. Don't stand out, don't go too far, don't hurt anyone. Self-sabotage becomes an act of hidden loyalty. Hendricks puts it clearly, our thermostat keeps us from fully enjoying the love, money, and creativity that should be ours. It holds us in the zone of competence, or maybe zone of excellence, but never lets us reach our zone of genius. This limit isn't logical. It's based on wanting to be accepted. Even if your mind wants success, love, and freedom, this childhood rule still controls things in secret. Most people obey these rules their whole lives without knowing. They think they're being humble or realistic, but really, they're following beliefs that made sense to a 6-year-old, not an adult. Over time, these rules feel sacred. Wanting more starts to feel selfish. Growth feels like betrayal. So the mind shrinks back. But what if you could notice this pattern? What if you could question the old agreement? In the next part, you'll learn what it really means to break past your limit and begin your big leap. Going beyond self-sabotage is not just about awareness. It takes real courage to go beyond the inner limits. You'll need to let go of the version of yourself that only knew how to survive, not thrive. Hendricks says clearly, you only need to solve one problem, your upper limit problem. Solve that, and everything else will follow. This may sound dramatic, but it's true. When you stop blocking yourself from receiving and holding on to the best things in life, everything improves. But breaking past this limit means allowing yourself to feel good. And most people aren't used to that. Hendricks asks, how long can you feel happy before looking for something to worry about? How long can you stay in love before doubting or ruining it? How long can you enjoy wealth before causing a problem? Or losing focus? The mind that's used to stress feels peace as strange. The body used to tension sees rest as odd. The soul that learned to please fears being too full. So the first step is to make a new promise to yourself, to allow more love, more money, more health, more success. Not in short moments, but as your new normal. Hendricks gives a simple exercise. Repeat this mantra. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire others to do the same. Say it with feeling. It tells your mind it's safe to grow. It's safe to receive. It's okay to live well, even if others never have. But repeating words isn't enough. You must feel the truth in them. Feel worthy, feel ready, and feel responsible to keep this new level without guilt or fear. There will be resistance. Old habits will fight back. But now you understand what's happening. That resistance is a sign you're growing. In the next part, we'll go into practical tools you can use daily to spot and break these sabotage habits and build new patterns based on growth. Because awareness is just the start. Real change needs action. Knowing you sabotage yourself is a huge step, but not the final one. Self-sabotage is smart. It hides in daily life. That's why you need tools that reprogram your mind and emotions. Hendricks offers powerful strategies. They are simple, but work well if used often and with honesty. First, watch your inner talk. Every negative thought, worry, or harsh self-criticism is a small sabotage. Learn to notice them, stop them, and replace them with positive ones. Repeat the mantra. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire others to do the same. This isn't just saying words. It's training your brain to accept peace, success, and joy as your new normal. Another tool, deep breathing. Hendricks quotes Fritz Perls. Fear is excitement without the breath. That means the fear you feel is just unused energy. So when you feel scared while growing, breathe deeply. That fear becomes power. Next, watch for tiny sabotages. Things like delaying a task, saying yes when you mean no, eating when not hungry. These are signs of the upper limit problem. Each one moves you away from your zone of genius. Notice them and make better choices each day. But maybe the strongest tool is this. Commit to telling yourself the truth. Stop saying things like, I can't handle it, or this isn't for me. Each time you say that, you make it more true. Instead say, I'm ready. I deserve this. I can handle it. That makes space for better experiences. Solving the upper limit problem is more than knowing, it's training your emotions, changing habits, and choosing to stop living by old rules. But still, one big question remains. Why, even with all these tools, do people stay stuck? In the final part, we'll answer that. The real reason we sabotage, not fear of failure, but fear of our own greatness. In the end, self-sabotage isn't just fear of failing. It's fear of success. Fear of shining, being seen, and having to live at a new level with more responsibility. You accept your greatness, You can't hide anymore, not behind old stories, past pain, or false humility. Hendricks asks clearly, are you willing to take the big leap to your highest level of love, success, and creativity? This isn't just a question, it's a challenge. Taking the leap means no more emotional or financial struggle. It means becoming your best self fully. And that's not easy, because you'll have to leave behind the story you've told yourself for years. Choosing greatness can feel selfish. It can feel risky, but it doesn't make others smaller. It lifts them too. When you live in your zone of genius, you become a light for others. Yes, you may disturb people who are stuck in their own limits, but that's part of the mission. The choice is this: stay small in the comfort zone, or take the leap into a life of love, joy, freedom, and meaning. And not just visit that life, but stay in it. Live it fully. Become someone who doesn't just wish for amazing things, but holds on to them every day. The concept of the upper limit problem is surprisingly real and relatable. Many people experience it without even knowing. Just when life starts getting better, something inside pulls them back. It's not random, and it's not weakness. It's a deep emotional pattern rooted in fear and old beliefs. What struck me most is how self-sabotage often shows up in very ordinary ways: worrying too much, starting unnecessary arguments, procrastinating, or losing focus right after a win. These aren't just bad habits. They're often fear-wearing. A mask. The idea that we have an internal thermostat that controls how much success, love, or joy we allow ourselves is powerful. It makes you realize how often we confuse what's familiar with what's safe, even if that familiar place is stressful or unhappy. The message is clear. If we want to grow and stay successful, we need to become emotionally ready to receive and hold that success. That means reprogramming our minds, challenging childhood beliefs, and learning not just to dream big, but to feel worthy of actually living that dream. It's not just about noticing our limits. It's about having the courage to break them and build a life that feels good, not just looks good. This message is bold, uncomfortable, and necessary. It's a reminder that real change isn't about pushing harder, but about giving yourself permission to expand. What makes this even more profound is the realization that self-sabotage isn't always loud or dramatic. It's often subtle and rational. We don't usually see it as sabotage because it shows up in ways we can easily justify. I'm just being realistic. It wasn't the right time, or I don't want to seem selfish. But behind those thoughts is often a deeper belief that we don't deserve more, or that having more will lead to rejection, discomfort, or loss. The role of self-compassion in breaking free overcoming self-sabotage requires more than discipline. It demands self-compassion. These limits were often formed to protect you, ensuring acceptance or safety in childhood. Judging yourself for sabotaging only deepens the cycle. Instead, approach your patterns with kindness and curiosity. Why did I pull back here? Understanding triggers, whether fear of outshining others or guilt for succeeding, allows you to respond intentionally. Self-compassion creates a safe space to explore your potential, making it easier to sustain growth without self-punishment. Building a support system for expansion. You don't have to face this journey alone. Surround yourself with people who champion your growth: friends, mentors, or communities who celebrate your wins without jealousy. These allies reflect your potential when doubt creeps in. Conversely, limit time with those who reinforce old limits, subtly discouraging your ambitions or making you feel guilty for thriving. A supportive circle amplifies your ability to live in your zone of genius, making the leap feel less isolating and more achievable. Sustaining the leap. A lifelong commitment. The big leap isn't a one-off event. It's a lifelong practice. Even after progress, old patterns may resurface, cloaked as new doubts or distractions. Stay vigilant by regularly checking in. Are you shrinking to fit old limits? Are you allowing joy without inventing problems? Tools like journaling, meditation, or therapy can help you monitor your progress and catch sabotage early. Over time, living in abundance becomes your default, but it requires consistent effort to make it stick. The ripple effect of your transformation. When you break through your upper limit, the impact extends beyond you. Your courage to live authentically inspires others to question their own limits. You become a catalyst, proving growth is possible. As Hendricks notes, your expansion encourages others to do the same. This isn't about ego, it's about owning your light and sharing it. By choosing to thrive, you create a ripple effect, transforming not just your life but the world around you. Reframing success as a responsibility, embracing your potential isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. When you live fully in your zone of genius, you're not only honoring yourself, but also contributing to the world in a way only you can. Hendricks suggests that self-sabotage often stems from a fear of this responsibility, the weight of knowing your actions matter. By accepting this, you shift from seeing success as a burden to viewing it as a calling. Each step toward your potential is a step toward fulfilling your unique purpose, impacting others in ways you may never fully see. Overcoming the fear of isolation. One of the deepest fears tied to breaking the upper limit is isolation, the worry that shining too brightly will alienate you from others. This fear is rooted in early experiences of being too much or causing discomfort. Hendricks encourages reframing this. Your growth doesn't push people away. It invites them to rise with you. Those who can't handle your light may drift, but that creates space for connections aligned with your authentic self. Embracing this truth helps you let go of the need to dim your shine for others' comfort. The power of small wins breaking. The upper limit doesn't always mean grand gestures. It starts with small, intentional wins. Celebrate moments when you choose authenticity over sabotage, saying no to a draining commitment, completing a task you've delayed, or allowing yourself to feel joy without guilt. These micro-victories build momentum, rewiring your thermostat to tolerate more abundance. Hendricks emphasizes that consistency in small actions compounds over time, creating a foundation for lasting transformation. Living as your true self ultimately. The big leap is about becoming who you were meant to be. It's not just about achieving goals, but living in alignment with your deepest truth. Hendricks' work reminds us that self-sabotage is a sign you're close to something extraordinary. Your mind resists because it senses change. Each time you push past that resistance, you reclaim a piece of your authentic self. This journey is lifelong, requiring vigilance, courage, and self-love. But with every step, you move closer to a life where abundance, love, and creativity aren't just dreams, they're your reality. Asterisk, asterisk. How self-sabotage shows up. Self-sabotage is sneaky because it disguises itself as normal behavior. Here are some common ways it appears. When things are going well, you start overthinking. For example, after a great day, you might lie awake imagining problems, like losing your job or someone getting upset with you. In a happy relationship, you might pick a fight over something silly, like a forgotten text, ruining the good vibe. For no reason, you have everything you need to finish a project, but you keep putting it off, missing opportunities to move forward. Just when you're eating well or exercising regularly, you might skip workouts or eat poorly, breaking your streak. After a big win, like a promotion, you start thinking, I don't deserve this, or I'll mess it up, which leads to mistakes. These actions aren't random. They're your mind's way of pulling you back to a safe level of comfort. Hendricks says this happens most when you're close to living in your zone of genius, the place where you're at your best, doing what you love and thriving. Asterisk, what hits me hardest is how sneaky self-sabotage is. I've caught myself procrastinating on projects that could push me forward, not because I'm lazy, but because a part of me feels uneasy about stepping into a bigger version of myself. It's unsettling to think that we may be unconsciously loyal to our childhood fears, choosing to stay small just to stay safe. What's powerful, though, is that if these limits were learned, they can be unlearned. This gives us hope. The tools Hendricks offers, like conscious breathing, positive affirmations, noticing micro-sabotages, aren't just techniques. They're ways of interrupting the old emotional scripts we've been following for years. Still, the real work isn't just doing these practices, it's feeling them. Truly believing we are worthy of peace, love, success, and joy every day. That's where transformation happens, not in theory, but in how we live and feel daily. There's something deeply freeing about understanding that your limits aren't real. They were taught, absorbed, and repeated until they felt like truth. But they're not. And the idea that you can break them not just for yourself, but as an example for others, is incredibly empowering. This isn't just personal development. It's personal liberation. The most challenging part of this journey is that it requires you to step into a version of yourself you've never been before, one who is no longer defined by past fears, by other people's expectations, or by old patterns of staying small. And that can feel terrifying. When you've spent your whole life believing that being too happy, too successful, or too visible might lead to rejection or pain, it's natural for your mind to resist growth, even when you desperately want it. That resistance isn't proof that you're broken, it's proof that you're on the edge of something bigger. It's the moment right before the breakthrough, where the old identity wants to pull you back, but the new one is trying to emerge. The idea that we must not only dream of a better life, but also train ourselves to hold it, is one of the most powerful takeaways from this. Because having more love, more peace, more freedom, also means letting go of who we had to be when we had less. That version of you may have been necessary to survive, but it isn't the version that will let you thrive. Breaking the upper limit is not a one-time act. It's a daily choice, a decision to notice when you're shrinking, when you're retreating into fear, and gently guide yourself back to expansion. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but so is staying stuck. The difference is, one path leads to more of the same, and the other leads to a life you've only imagined. It's not about being perfect, it's about being willing. Willing to feel good, willing to grow, willing to believe that you don't have to self-destruct when things go well. You can stay. You can expand. You can become someone who lives in their greatness, not just visits it. Now that you know how the upper limit problem works, its roots and the tools to fix it, only one thing remains. Make the decision. Don't just understand it, choose to. Stop self-sabotaging. Everything you want is already possible if you stop blocking it. If this video opened your eyes, comment below. I'm ready for my big leap. Say it, write it, own it, and watch the next video. It's the next step in your journey. You've already started. Now finish it.